Welcome back, I'm Kyle Benzion. The Florida Gator football team is back in the top 5 of the AP poll after the huge win over LSU Saturday in the Swamp. In the first half, the Gators and Tigers both struggled offensively. The defenses dominated throughout the game as John Bostic and Josh Evans take down Zach Mettenberger on their way to 4 sacks. After trailing by 6 in the first half, the Gators offense stepped up in the second as running back Mike Gillislee put the team on his back. Gillislee ran for 2 12-yard touchdowns and 146 yards on 34 carries as the Gators went on to win 14-6. Florida coach Will Muschamp says the defense's stellar performance was due to practicing against a strong running game.
We're good at what you're used to seeing because your kids have a better feel and understand of how to play those blocks and what to do in those situations. And I feel like you see that a little bit with our defense. And
the Florida defense gave up just 200 yards in the game. And moving around the SEC, the South Carolina Gamecocks hosted Georgia in a big-time matchup this weekend. Connor Shaw threw for 2 touchdowns for USC, while the big-time running back Marcus Lattimore had another 100-yard game and a touchdown as the Gamecocks knocked off the Dogs 35-7. Meanwhile, the Gators' next opponent, Vanderbilt, traveled to Missouri this weekend. The Commodores beat the Tigers 19-15 behind 2 rushing touchdowns for Zach Stacy. Kickoff for the Gators indoors is set for 6 on Saturday night in Nashville. And the Florida football team wasn't the only UF team to have a lot of success this weekend. The Gator volleyball team extended their winning streak to 10 and moved to 7-0 in the SEC after 2 wins this weekend. After beating Arkansas on Friday, the Gators trailed 2-0 against Kentucky before a comeback for the ages as Florida won by winning 3 straight sets. The match was the 3rd time in the past 4 years that the Gators battled back to win from a 0-2 hole.
I think the team obviously can draw on the experience both from learning, what was it that occurred on the court that got us down 0-2, what changes we can make so we're not in that predicament again.
Next up, the Gators will try to extend their winning streak as they host Ole Miss this Friday in the O'Connell Center. And the Gators soccer team was also in action this weekend on the road as the Gators got a huge win over the 5th-ranked Aggies of Texas A&M this weekend 2-1. Next up, the Gators will take on Missouri Friday at James G. Presley Stadium. And over to pro football, while the Tampa Bay Bucks were off this weekend, the Miami Dolphins and Jacksonville Jaguars tried to get back on track. However, the Jags weren't too lucky. The Bears blew out Jacksonville 41-3 as Blaine Gabbert threw 2 interceptions that were brought back for touchdowns. At least one of the teams in the state got a win this week. The Miami Dolphins beat the Cincinnati Bengals 17-13 as the team improved to 2-3 on the season. And NASCAR had a crazy finish this weekend at Talladega. On the last lap, Michael Waltrip goes to pass Matt Kenseth for the lead, but Tony Stewart comes down to block him, and there goes the big one. 25 cars taken out in the wreck. It was complete mayhem. Brad Keselowski squeaks away to finish 7th and hold on to the top spot in the Sprint Cup standings. Matt Kenseth escaped the wreck to win the race. And out to the baseball diamond, a couple more big-time divisional playoff games this evening. Currently in progress, right now the St. Louis Cardinals trail the Washington Nationals 1-0 in the bottom of the 2nd. Meanwhile, the Baltimore Orioles host the New York Yankees tonight. The Yanks lead the series 1-0.
Well, thank you, Kyle. Any news on tonight's game in Monday Night Football?
Yeah, a couple of big players to watch. Tim Tebow and Mark Sanchez, New York Jets, traveling to take on the Houston Texans.
Thank you, Kyle. More weather's next. Stay with us.